Oh, to pretend to be a German heiress and scam the living daylights out of rich people and not get caught. Isn't that a dream? Shonda Rhimes created Inventing Anna, telling us the story of a woman who scammed the New York elites. But it turns out she didn't want to meet the woman she was making the series of, the real Anna Delvey. Why is that? You're gonna find out in this video. First of all, Inventing Anna doesn't mean hanging out with her. The scammer who almost had it all. Shonda Rhimes created the hit limited series titled Inventing Anna that made waves across the world and introduced a lot of people to the woman who had craftily cheated people out of their money until she was arrested in 2017. No guts, no glory, right? Anna Delvey's risks were huge, but imagine being so cunning that you, just one woman, can con so many millionaires. We're not saying what she did was right, but it doesn't take away the fact that what she did was immensely difficult, and she had the courage to almost pull it off. But clever as that may be, or some would call it extremely foolish because she's now going to spend a lot of her time in jail, or with the government watching her like a hawk, the creator of Inventing Anna didn't want to meet her. Making a series on the woman but not wanting to meet her sounds odd, but Shonda Rhimes actually had a solid reason for not doing it. In her recent interview, she explains at length why she didn't consider talking to or interviewing the woman she was making a series of. She said that she purposely didn't want to meet Anna because she'd talked to a lot of people who had met her and she'd only ever heard two things about her: that people either fell in love with her and lost all their objectivity, or they hated her guts and just couldn't cope with it. There's no in between, it seems, so Shonda didn't risk it, which was honestly a pretty good move. After all, why risk it? Imagine you interview the titular character of the show that you're making and you fall in love with her, creating a show that puts her in a good light, forgetting the crimes she committed and the money she stole. Had that been the case, we'd have seen a very different version of Inventing Anna that we've come to love. We'd have gotten a glamorized version of all the crimes and the people she ripped off, and that would have become quite problematic. Or think about a whole different scenario. Had Shonda despised Anna after meeting her, it's possible we wouldn't have gotten a series to watch at all, and we're quite glad that that didn't happen. So Shonda made a good decision because we're quite glad the series was made and we got to learn about the life of Anna Delvey. Rhimes told The Hollywood Report, quote, "And I felt like I didn't want to be stuck in a position where I had these feelings for this person that were going to color how I was going to tell the story," end quote. Yep, no prejudice. That's the way to create a hit limited series for Netflix. Shonda explained that she didn't want to feel sorry for Anna, but also didn't want to think that she was a monster. Next up, the future of the real Anna Delvey. We don't know what the future is going to hold for the real woman who was the inspiration for the series. The convicted con artist defrauded major financial institutions, banks, hotels, and even some of the people she might have once called friends. This led her to steal more than $275,000, an amount that would have only gone up had she not been arrested in 2017. And that's when her swindling came to an end. But that wasn't it. Anna was convicted of 8 charges. These charges included attempted grand larceny, larceny in the second degree, and theft of services. But she isn't in prison right now, as you might have expected of her. Nuh-uh. She was sentenced to 4 to 12 years in prison, but was actually released on parole in 2021, and right now is being held in custody by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. And like everyone else, Shonda is quite curious about where the woman is going to end up and what her future holds for her. She said that she wonders where the fake German heiress is going to be in 10 years and who she's going to be in 20 years because she's got a lot of growing up to do. Also, Anna's need for control. We wouldn't be surprised if in a few years we see her with her own book and a new business, wanting to start a new life away from crime and fraud. And if that's something she wants to do, we'll be quite happy to see what she makes of herself. When asked why she did what she did, Delvey had a different perspective about her actions, noting that she just wanted to, quote, own something. She shared in an episode of Spotify's Forbidden Fruits podcast, saying that she just wanted her own thing and wants to be in control, quote, "And I just wanted to tell people what to do. It's such a different dynamic to be paid and to pay people," end quote. Well, if that's the mentality she keeps in the future, we're not sure the straight life is for her. And lastly, the charming Miss Delvey. Shonda Rhimes said that from everything she's seen of Anna, she seemed very charming. She went into detail. She was being filmed for the series and was asked the question, what was the time she was the happiest? And as she was sitting in prison, in a prison jumpsuit, she said, right now. She said it with such skill that for a moment you'd like to think maybe she's right. Rhimes thinks about what's interesting about her, all the lies she tells people. She continued to say that they're living in an Instagram society where everything is about how it looks on Instagram and how it looks on paper. And Anna embodies that in a big way. And Shonda feels for her because she wonders who she's going to be in the future and whether she'll still have the same outlook on life. Well, we guess that's to be seen. Other related news, starting off with Julia Garner's dual Ozark and Inventing Anna nominations cement her status as Emmy catnip. When it comes to turning Emmy nominations into Emmy wins, Julia Garner is so far the best out of all. The actress was nominated in 2019 and 2020 in the supporting actress in a drama series category for Ozark, and she won both times. And now she has doubled her Emmy nominations, tally to 4. 1 nomination for supporting actress in the final season of Ozark, and 1 for her Inventing Anna role as the lead actress in a limited or anthology series or movie. Her Ozark nomination wasn't that much of a shock to anyone, but the success of Inventing Anna at the Emmys was a bit of a surprise because Maid was in the running and people thought it'd make the cut. Apparently not, but in hindsight, it shouldn't have been a surprise at all. By now, it's clear that Julia Garner should be added to the list of awards catnip. She's one of the best actresses on screen right now who continues to amaze everyone and whose work has not gone unnoticed by industry voters. And Shondaland's Betsy Beer feels very fortunate that they landed with her for the Inventing Anna role because she's so darn good that she she isn't surprised if Garner wins an Oscar in the future. Next up, remote South Australia pub becomes unlikely centerpiece of new horror movie starring Julia Garner. An abandoned outback pub near Adelaide that was built in 1874 has become home for 100 cast and crew. A tiny community with a population of just 9 people in the South Australian outback has been changed into an unlikely Hollywood set where big-name stars including Hugo Weaving and Julia Garner have been calling home. Yikes. The things you gotta do for acting. Garner and Matrix legend Weaving are among the cast of The Royal Hotel, a story about backpacking buddies who take live-in jobs at a pub in a remote mining town before their adventure takes a dark and bloody turn. The pub has been transformed, and when hundreds of cars pulled up in this area, the neighbors wondered what was going on because nothing has ever made noise in this part of the country. But the cast and crew, according to the neighbors, are wonderful people who haven't disturbed anyone and have kept things quiet despite the nature of their work. Peterborough Mayor Ruth Whittle said she never expected the pub would be the backdrop for a horror movie. And lastly, Madonna says she's directing her own biopic so misogynistic men can't. No one's going to tell my story but me. Julia Garner is set to be the lead of the Madonna biopic that Madonna's making herself. She says she wants to create a movie that is hers that misogynistic men can't get their hands on. Because as we know from experience, if a movie about women is supposed to be made, it has some sexist undertones and quite a lot of victim blaming. Madonna says she wants to make a movie about her music because it saved her life on more than one occasion and wants to be able to show the world a story about her as she wants. That's it from our side for today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you have any questions or thoughts about the Inventing Anna showrunner never wanting to meet the real Anna Delvey, let us know. See you in the next one.